It wound up today, I'll tell you.
Good evening. This is April 13th, 2022. It's 6 p.m. and this is the Dudley Conservation Commission. Members present,
Samantha Costello.
Nancy Vukovic.
George Slingo.
Fran Mikulajczyk.
Bob Tuttle?
First on it is notice of intent for Sawmill Road. Actually, someone here for that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Notice of intent for Sawmill Road, Jonathan and Jowita Andrelevich. Construction of a single-family resident within a 100-foot buffer to a bordering vegetated wetland and riparian zone to a perennial stream. No DEP number issued yet. Are you in a butter?
Yes.
Okay. Have we had recommendation on Matt on that?
Matt's not on the Zoom. I'll try texting him.
He
But
said he was gonna be.
Yeah, but DEP just about 30 minutes ago sent comments.
Oh, they have.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten that.
I can make a copy for you.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a DEP number.
Okay, I'll have to see what they had to say. So I'm Jason Dubois, DC Engineering and Survey, out of Charlton, representing Jonathan Andrelevich. This property is a 20-acre property on Sawmill Road, on the south side of Sawmill Road. You can see in the locust map, it's a little ways off of Charlton Road. The property comes in the back here. It opens up a little wider once you get to this section. There's an existing cart path that's there now. He is proposing to make that a residential driveway. So we are proposing a 14-foot wide paved driveway to be constructed along that existing cart path that's through there. Right now, we're just trying to get the driveway through the buffer zone and the resource areas, and then he's gonna decide what he wants to do up in the back, you know, at a later time with the house and all that. But you can see, this is the 200-foot riparian zone, 100-foot riparian zone,
Yep.
and this is the 100-foot buffer zone. The wetland is located up in the northwest corner of the property. That was flagged by Three Oaks Environmental, I believe back in January of 22. I also have the riverfront calculations on the plan. The total riverfront, let's see, inner riparian zone is just under 40,000 square feet. The outer riparian zone from 100 to 200 is just under 38,000 square feet. So a total, a 10% disturbance on that, which is maybe allowed, is 7,700 square feet. And we're proposing 5,300, so we are under the 10% on that. We do have erosion controls shown on the down gradient side of the driveway, straw wattles and siltation fence, and we're proposing a tracking pad at the entrance as well to just, you know, brush off any mud or sediment that would be on tires during construction. Just seeing this now, so.
Any abutters? Any questions?
I had questions. I did a little investigation, and I heard,
Can you please come up here and state your name for the record, please?
my name is Peter Jacobs. I live at 91 Sawmill. I'm across the street, and I abut the property that's being discussed. When I called, the response I got was that they simply wanted a variance so that they could build a driveway. And the first question I had was, I was wondering whether the construction ultimately was residential or commercial. I think that question's been answered. There's no discussion about this being rezoned commercial for any reason, is that correct?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know anything about it being rezoned.
Okay, but
That would be with the planning board anyways.
okay, but currently it's residentially zoned, so a business couldn't be constructed there, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. The information that I received suggested a connection between the property and Ramco Construction. And apparently the Mr. Andrelevich is an owner of Ramco. And so the concern I had was whether or not the construction company and the driveway was somehow connected, and there might be an effort to use the property as part of his construction firm.
No, if it's zoned residential, he can't run a business out of it.
It says for a single-family residence.
Yeah, that's what wasn't in the information. All they talked about was they're building a driveway.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have any idea why, or,
Even the
you know.
plan says a proposed
Yeah.
single family.
No, when I heard him, a lot of my questions were answered. So that was the only concern that I really had. I know that the wetlands runs across on my property as well, but I don't see how the construction would interfere with that at all. So my questions have been answered.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions from the board?
This is just before that stream that goes under the road, right? To the left-hand side.
Jason?
I'm sorry?
It's right before the stream. In other words, you're going west, and the shop, you got the shop corner, and then there's a stream that goes under the road, a perennial stream.
Just before
This is
that.
Just before it on the left.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Any other questions, from the public, any abutters? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing at 6:07. Someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we grant a standard order of conditions for a construction of a driveway for a single-family residence on Sawmill Road for Jonathan and Joetta Andrelevich.
I'll second it.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There'll be one abstention, one abstention. I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to leave this up here? Take
You
care
can
of it?
take that.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Number 2 is order conditions for 55 Dudley Oxford Road, Cello Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless.
Thanks.
Anybody here for that? Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just let you know this DEP number with no comment.
On number 2? On Dudley Oxford?
This is Verizon, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, there's DEP number with no comment.
What does he say?
What is, there's no
So-
DEP number yet?
So there was no
There's a DEP number with no comments.
Okay,
So,
okay. So there was no comments, so then we've already voted on this,
Right,
pending any comments from the DEP.
Fran?
yeah, this one was 55 Dudley Oxford, correct?
Correct.
Fran?
Yeah, there was a question from DEP, from Gary Dolmain, who was the analyst that reviewed this, that both the Verizon representative and myself settled with Gary. So, he was fine. So if you actually look at the database, their current database, there's no comment. So everything looks good. Everything's good to go.
Okay, so we can vote on this then.
Yep.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for 55 Dudley Oxford Road, Cello Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is order conditions for 40 Fish Road, Jonathan Andrelevich. We voted on this pending any issues with the DEP comments.
Mr. Chairman, would recommend that you continue this matter currently. There is some issue that DEP has regarding federal versus state law on agriculture that the applicant is in the middle of settling.
Okay, what is this pertaining to?
Well, pertaining to what DEP is looking at the use or the potential use of this property, and the fact that there were former farm ponds that needed to be filled, even though they're exempt from our regulations, they're just evaluating to ensure that they're not regulatory for federal 401k and basic 404. Essentially, what would happen is if it were federal, there may be a question about the particular type of agriculture that's proposed on the property. If it's not federal, then because it's allowed under state regulation, then it would be exempt. So they're in the middle of settling that issue right now.
Okay, 'cause
So we should have something resolved by the next meeting.
I spoke to a gentleman about it being a farm, and his great-grandparents owned it, and they had a horse farm and raised sulky horses, racehorses, in the 30s, and up until 1977, when she died. And then they sold it to Bono, who built some houses on it, and then it got sold to Healy, I believe, who had horses.
And that's not under dispute. It
Okay.
would be with the, any proposed uses or future uses on it is what they're examining. I think it's just a technicality, and they need to resolve it. So until they resolve it, I would move, recommend that the commission continue.
All right, so I'll make a motion on that.
I make a motion that we continue the order of conditions for 40 Fish Road.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the hearing for 40 Fish Road. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Determination, next, number 4 is determination of applicability for Mason Road, Town of Dudley Highway Department.
I'm just gonna replace this with this sheet here that I have with the resource areas on it.
That's okay.
Good evening, my name is Emmett Taylor. I'm here with Ty and Bond representing the Town of Dudley Highway Department for the Mason Road Sidewalk Installation Project. The proposed work basically involves taking this hot mix asphalt shared use path that begins just north of the fire station on the corner of West Main Street and Mason Road and continues down along Mason Road heading north until the first part of the project terminates right around the Mason Road Elementary School, and that's the portion of the project that I'm going to be focusing on. Proposed work does occur within the 100-foot buffer zone, which you can see here by this perforated line, and then outlined right here of a bordering vegetated wetland, and then also within the locally regulated 25-foot setback. Proposed work will involve essentially excavating the existing asphalt path that's 6 feet, and then widening it an additional 4 feet and repaving it. There, you can see here these lines with, on sheet 5 with the circles connected with the straight lines. That is the proposed location for our stormwater control, erosion control barriers. So it follows a down gradient side along the edge of the wetland for the entire span of the project. Here on sheet 5, and then also here on this outlet, stormwater outlet that is on the other side of the road as well. In total, there'll be approximately 4,300 square feet of alterations within the 100-foot buffer zone. 1,400 of those will be new impervious area within the 100-foot buffer zone, and 905 square feet will be new impervious area within the 25-foot buffer zone. Following construction, the area will be loamed and seeded, and before construction activities commence, all necessary erosion controls will be installed.
Where exactly is this located on Mason Road?
From the fire station to the school.
Yes, exactly.
Isn't there an existing walkway there today?
Yes, so what we're proposing is taking that 6-foot walkway, or the first part of the project, taking that 6-foot walkway, removing it and widening it to 10 feet.
I just wanted to move up to
Oh.
address any further questions than that, so.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Jeff Murray, the highway superintendent.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions from the board?
Are they gonna pave the road?
So so the paving project will continue after the sidewalk installation. At that point where the walkway happens, between the fire department and the school, there won't be any work that happens as far as curbing or berm on the roadway itself. It'll be limited to
So
The
the
paving
only
and the-
walkway you're gonna expand is between the fire station and the school?
that's one portion of the job.
Yeah,
How far
and then-
down Mason Road are you going?
To Meadow Lane.
yes.
Is that the first road on the right?
No,
It's,
the fifth.
Delaney or something?
yeah, it's about the fifth road on the right. I believe it's roughly 1,400 feet,
Yeah, 1,400 feet is very close to the number that I have.
give or take. So that'll all be within the town layout and granite curb and concrete sidewalk. And only on one side of the road, on the school side of the road.
And that's being shown in a different part of this plan?
Correct.
Yeah, so sheet 5 just shows the area that interacts with the jurisdictional resource areas, and then the rest of the sheets will show the rest of the.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's Delaney, and then there's Oakwood, and then there's something.
Thank you.
I can actually flip this if this would help a little bit.
Right in the beginning, there's some wetlands.
This shows the
Yeah.
full length of the project. So here's the fire station, here's Meadow Lane right down here. And then here's our bordering vegetated wetland.
Once you get past the school, you're outside of
Exactly,
our jurisdiction anyways.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions from the board members?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
All right, so you should probably remember historically, I'm very familiar with this area, especially when the fire department had some modifications on their building. I know this wetland area very well. I don't have an issue with what they're proposing. If anything, one thing I did note when I was out there examining those wetlands, because I actually examined them very closely, there is the ability right now to actually be able to traverse through the wetland, which I think would actually be a little bit on the unsafe side. And I think that this particular proposal would actually go a long way to making sure that foot traffic is safely guided between the corner of the road and the school. I don't see any impacts to wetlands that would require any conditions under an order of conditions. So I have no issues recommending a negative determination. The commission would have to approve a waiver for the limited amount of work that does traverse into the 25-foot zone because of the logistics of the wetland and the way they come up close to the fire station in the corner. There's really no other place you can go around it. Those are just my thoughts for whatever they're worth. Thank you.
So basically if I'm correct, you're saying a negative determination with a waiver for the area, the 25-foot area by the.
That's correct.
By the fire station.
So in effect, the waiver and the negative determination would require them to stick to the scope of this plan. If they adjust, they'd have to come back, just like under an order. There's really nothing else you would need to condition on this other than what they've proposed. So I don't see any impacts to wetlands. I don't see any, huge increases in stormwater, et cetera. So I think a negative determination as they're requesting is more than appropriate. Again, the waiver would actually make the determination in effect a local permit.
Okay. Somebody would like to make a motion to that?
I make a motion that we issue a negative determination for Mason Road, the Town of Dudley Highway Department.
Second it.
Actually, I gotta back up a bit. I'm gonna close the public hearing at 20 minutes past 6.
Do we have to mention the waiver? Want to do that with the waiver?
Now, somebody wanna make a motion?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking for this.
So I make a motion to issue a negative determination with a waiver
25 feet.
of 25 feet.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And anyone who's there from Ty and Bond, great job on the paperwork. Excellent, excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number
Thanks.
5 is tree removal request, 24 Sawmill Road. Jessica Bly. Matt, what's your recommendations on this?
I went out and took a look at this area. I mean, you know, they are removing a lot of trees
Yeah, it looks like
from
7.
around the area of the pond. I don't have a problem with it. They are correcting their claims. I went out and took a look at it over the weekend. They are correcting their claim. I know that area very well, actually. We've done a lot of work out there over the years with different files. In fact, I think we've had prior filings on this property. My recommendation is to approve the tree removal minor project authorization with a caveat that they replant 3 trees. 2 of them being maple, 2 of them along the, closer to the water's edge, 10 feet apart. And 1 of them anywhere else in the yard that they want to put it.
Okay, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if you went out there and marked them where you would like the trees.
I can do that, absolutely.
Okay. Someone want to make a request to that?
I make a recommendation that we approve the tree removal request for 24 Sawmill Road with the caveat that they replant at least 3 trees. Matt to mark where he suggests they go.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need next is a certificate of compliance for 15 Causeway Shores, Mark Stefanik. Matt, what's your recommendation on this?
This one actually, if I remember correctly, was for a small addition and a deck. I went out and took a look at it over the weekend. It's fine. Wasn't really much to see. Breezed in, breezed out. It's exactly what they said it was going to be. Everything looks fine. Recommend a certificate of compliance. So I recommend approval.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion that we order a certificate of compliance for 15 Causeway Shores.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to approve a certificate of compliance for 15 Causeway Shores, Mark Stefanik. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, has everybody read the meeting minutes from March 2nd?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented for March 2nd meeting.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
At
Thanks, Matt.